This is the story of Eli, a father who gave everything so his children could have something. A story not about power or success, but about quiet courage, about sacrifice, about never giving up, even when the world gives up on you. This is the promise he carried. The sky was still dark when he opened his eyes. There was no alarm clock, just instinct, habit, hunger, and the sound of hope waking up inside him for one more day. His name was Eli, no titles, no education, no resume, just a father, a man who carried a quiet dream to give his children a future better than his past. He lived in a forgotten part of the world, a place without a name. The roads were dust and stone, the houses made of patched wood and metal sheets. The air smelled like burnt firewood, and hope was rare. But in one small corner of this place stood Eli's home, a one-room shelter with a leaky roof and 3 sleeping children he would die for. They were his everything. Lena, the oldest, was 12, smart, curious. She read everything she could find, even old newspapers used as wrapping. Micah, 9, didn't speak much, but when he did, his words came with meaning. He loved to build things out of trash, wheels, fans, towers. Mira, the youngest, still had baby teeth and believed her father could fix anything in the world. Their mother had passed 2 winters ago, a sickness that came quickly and left quietly. No hospital, no medicine, just Eli's trembling hands holding hers until she was gone. That night after the burial, Lena had asked, "Dad, will we still go to school?" Eli had looked her in the eyes, wiped his face, and said, "Yes, I promise. You will all go to school, no matter what." He didn't know how. He just knew he would. School wasn't free. Books cost money. Uniforms cost money. Even pencils cost money. And money was something Eli barely had. He worked whatever jobs he could find, carrying bricks, cleaning gutters, chopping firewood, digging holes. No job was too small, no hour too long. If it kept his children in school, he would do it. Some days they ate rice, other days only tea. But every morning Eli made sure his kids walked out the door clean, dressed and fed, even if it meant he ate nothing. He patched their uniforms with old fabric. He sharpened used pencils with a knife. He stayed outside the school during tests just in case fees were suddenly demanded. His presence was quiet, but his love was loud. The neighbors whispered, "He's wasting his time. He should put the boy to work. Why educate girls? She'll just marry anyway." Eli said nothing. He just worked harder. He remembered what it felt like to be a child who never learned to read, who signed his name with a thumbprint, who stood in silence while others talked about laws, money, medicine, words he could never understand. He was building a future he would never live in, and that was enough. Then came the flood. One year, the rains didn't stop. The river rose, roads vanished, crops drowned, work disappeared. The school closed for weeks. And when it reopened, the fees were higher. Families pulled their children out. Many never returned. Eli had nothing left to sell, not his shoes, not his tools, not even the watch he kept from his wedding. He broke down that night. For the first time, he considered giving up. But as he sat in silence, Lena came to him with a small cloth bundle. Inside were coins, small ones, saved from the snacks she never bought, the gifts she refused, the errands she ran quietly for neighbors. "We'll find a way," she said softly. "Don't stop, Dad. I believe in you." That night, Eli didn't sleep. He fixed a broken lantern. He mended old bags. He built a plan. The next morning, he walked 5 miles to a small market at the edge of town and began shining shoes. The first day, no one came. The second day, 1 man did. The third day, 4. In 2 weeks, he was earning enough to pay a small part of the fees, enough to keep the promise alive. Word spread. The man who shines shoes so his kids can go to school. Some laughed, others helped. One woman donated old books. A stranger paid for exam fees. A teacher gave the kids extra lessons for free. Years passed. Lena finished middle school, then high school. Then came the letter, the scholarship. She had been accepted to a university in the capital city. Her clean water filtration project, made from scraps and buckets, had gone viral online. Scientists were impressed. Donors reached out. The day she left, Eli walked her to the bus. She hugged him tight and whispered, "I'm taking your promise with me." He nodded, trying not to cry. Micah followed in her footsteps, earning a spot in an engineering program through a youth competition. Mira, now 11, was already tutoring other kids in math and reading aloud every night to Eli. One evening, years later, Lena returned home. She had just finished her studies. The village had changed. The school had grown. More children attended than ever before. She found Eli under the same tree where he had once cried in silence. She knelt beside him and said, "I got a job offer. They want me to lead a project that brings clean water systems to poor communities. They're paying well. I want to build you a real home with a kitchen, a bathroom, and a library." Eli looked at her, his face older but his eyes still holding that silent fire. "You already gave me everything," he said. "You kept the dream alive." "No, Dad," she replied. "You did." And so, in a forgotten village in a nameless land, a man with no education, no money, and no help changed the future. Not with speeches or power, but with love, work, and a promise he refused to break. And that is how hope is built. Not in grand halls, not in fancy offices, but in the quiet strength of those who never give up. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories like this. Your support helps keep these stories alive. Thank you for watching.